back to Project U. If you are new here, I'm Pastor Elajah. Today I have
Kayla.
And Desola.
and today we're going to be talking about the balance between school, mental health, and relationships with God. So my first question to you guys is just going to be describing your journey with school from high school to college. Like, what has that looked like for you guys?
Um, so it was a little challenging. I didn't know what I wanted to do as far as occupation. I struggled with that getting out of high school, so I took time off of college. Then when I finally made the decision to go, I changed my major 3 times. And then once I kind of found my grounds and my roots, I went full dive into it, and now I'm chilling. I'm doing good.
So how long was the break between high school and college? Because I feel like that's a pressure a lot
Oh,
on high schoolers.
it was a pressure.
Yeah.
I I didn't go for a full semester. So when we got out of high school that summer, and then I decided to go back winter. So that was about 3-4 months of just like figuring out my life. So
Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
that.
I've seen people who've gone a lot longer than that, so you're good. Definitely,
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's definitely people who've gone longer than that for sure. But for me, like, starting off in high school and stuff, I started off eighth grade in Old Bridge, and then I moved to East Brunswick in my freshman year. So I was just trying to like transition. I was pretty nervous. Like eighth grade was like that school like that had like around like 100, 200 kids in the entire school, and then it went to like 1,000 plus kids like
Oh,
in my
wow.
freshman year. Yeah, so like I was just trying to adjust, get an understanding of everyone. It was just like a learning process with all my classes and stuff like that. So just getting the best understanding that I could, to make new friends, to connect with like connect with like my teachers and stuff like that. Like I was just doing my best to adjust to the new school and curriculum and stuff like that. So it was definitely a learning curve for sure during my freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. I was mainly focused on my academics and also like basketball. He's like that was my sport. Like I just wanted to continuously like enhance my skill set as much as possible, like with my sports and stuff like that. So that was my main like goal and stuff. And then after those years of just working with basketball as much as I could, as well as my academics, I moved into college. My first year was pretty nerve wracking just because like it was during that COVID like era. So
yeah.
like we really didn't have like that full freshman year. We had like my entire year like all through online, so like it was just like not really having like full connections with my classmates. Try my best to like connect with people, but it wasn't the same as like having that actual like time like that I could spend with people in person and stuff like that. So now I'm actually a senior in college right now, studying management information systems. So it's been a continuous and ongoing process of just learning as much as I can. I've done internships like throughout the summer and stuff like that. So I worked as like solution delivery analyst intern, and my main goal,
Period.
yeah, like
Literally.
yeah, just like continuously to enhance my information with IT, but also like the business side of it as well. So yeah, that's my main focus right now, and as I continue to grow and learn and develop with everything that I can with IT and business, I want to get a full-time job at the end of all of that. So it's a
Period.
process,
Yeah.
but I'm just working towards it, working towards a main goal.
Yeah,
That's
I
all you
want to
gotta
ask you
do.
because I didn't even think about like when we had met. It was like 2000, like the end of 2009. No, beginning of 2020. So it was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
January 2020, and I didn't even think about the fact that you were just starting college. So how was it like your first year in a completely new season, but you're not in person?
Yeah, I don't know. Like it kind of started from March of 2020, and I had like a lot of like, not struggles, but like some tests that I had to like overcome and stuff like that. Like without like I always say like you can't have a testimony without a test. So I had like some tests that I had to overcome and stuff like that with my own mental health. Just trying to better it as much as possible. Saw myself like not knowing how to like connect with certain people, like connect with like students as well as like teachers and stuff like that and professors and stuff. So all my classes were online. I never really went on campus like anytime. So like all my classes were just it was just like difficult to like find people that I can connect with. So I mainly had three. This is my third year on campus, so I've met people through B Star. It's business students transitioning at Rutgers. Met some like-minded individuals that wanted to focus on business as well and get as much as understanding as we could as incoming freshmen, but it was definitely not the same as like all the like opportunities that freshmen are getting right now. They can go through like orientations, meet other like-minded freshmen in person, and get that connection that they were longing for, like as the new students coming into school. But I didn't really have that experience. I tried my best to create those connections, and I met like around like two or three like pretty strong friendships throughout college from that freshman year. So I would say that it was nerve-wracking. It was like just trying to sort everything together, but for the most part it turned out for my favor because I've met a lot of people like throughout like B Star and like sophomore and junior year and the time that I had like in school so far.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I kind of want to bridge that now to the mental health aspect of it. Like, what was y'all's mental health throughout? And you can just talk about a period of time or in general, like your mental health in regards to school. Like, what was that relationship? Kayla's face.
Girl. Mental health was something I've struggled with mental health like for a nice chunk of my school life. So getting out of high school and then slowly shifting into like adulting, that was rough. And like adulting as in like now getting like a job, thinking about your career, the pressure of like, a lot of my friends that graduated, they knew exactly where they were going to go, exactly what they were going to do. And I was kind of the only one that didn't know what they wanted to do. And friends were moving out of state, going to college, people were dorming. And then when I decided to go into college, it was kind of lonely. I'm not going to lie. It was lonely. I felt like I had moments of like depression just from that. And then once like school kicked in and like deadlines, assignments, expectations, I'm also the first in my family to go to college. So that was, I mean, I give credit where credit's due. My sister went to cosmetology school, so she did do schooling. And my parents did go to school and stuff like that. But like college level, I was the only one. So I didn't even have the help at home of like filling out for FAFSA and like doing all those things. And like that all kind of fell on me to do. And my mom and dad did help as best as they could, but they've never had to do that.
Yeah, FAFSA
So
is stressful. Yeah.
I'm just learning now how to do FAFSA, but it's because I can now file as an individual. So that was another thing. You can't file as an individual unless you are with child, living on your own, or 23 years or older that I know of. So that was another thing. It's easier now because I'm 23 years and older. But that was like one of my biggest stressors. Like that was the anxiety behind it was rough. Just trying to get that in. Deadlines for assignments, the professor's expectations for you, and like, overthinking, like, am I meeting that expectation? So like, I think in the beginning I struggled really badly. And then a couple years into it, COVID hit. So then everything went virtual. And from like doing mostly hybrid, like in person and online, it just, everything shut down. Everything was online. So that kind of built into that pressure. And it was just rough. I know like there's a good balance now to where like I understand I'm doing better and I know, but it was rough in the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree as well with like feeling lonely. Like there's definitely some times like throughout like college and stuff like that where you don't really feel like you have anyone that you could talk to, just with like connect with for the most part. Throughout like 17 to 21, I've had like a lot of like times where I've just tried to like overcome situations in my life where it's been challenging, anxious thoughts, depressive thoughts and stuff like that. But I just try to like connect it all to God, like just try to like get closer with him each and every day, with devotionals, with the things that I read, the things that I like. I've been getting into podcasts and stuff like that, like reading and stuff like that. Just continuing to like develop my connection with God for the most part, because he's like our main source of like rejuvenation of like energy and stuff like that. So I just take it like day by day. That's what I've been trying to do as of right now, like throughout my senior year. Just take it like day by day, and like each day try to get like an A+ for the day. Like try to get like the best grade possible for the day. Like that's just
Aw,
that's just my way of thinking about it. Like because like mental health and like situations in your life, they could like have a spiraling like they could spiral if you don't like control it and control it at a certain extent. Like it's been rough. Like sometimes it's difficult to talk about, but also I've been trying to like journal and stuff like that. I actually do plan on writing a book as well. So like it's just like journaling, taking time to like connect with God, taking time to find times in my life where God is the person who's helping me in any situation that I go through is the main focus. In school, I feel like I never really like during the fall and spring semesters, like I've been finding myself like having good connections with classmates in school and stuff like that, but it's mainly during the summer where I found my most stress, like especially as a young adult, like trying to get into the corporate like setting and stuff like that. I've been doing internships since my freshman incoming sophomore year. So just like that, like learning curve each and every year of trying to find new ways to improve, new ways to find how to just learn as much as possible throughout my internships have been challenging. I've had times where I've like self-isolated and just like stayed to myself completely, and not want to like get out of just do my 9 to 5 and not just call it a day, like not talk to anyone and stuff like that. So God has been able to see me throughout all of these like situations and times in my life where it's been challenging, it's been difficult to overcome, and I can only give it like the glory to God that he's been able to help me throughout these difficult times in my life, because I know I can't do it myself. Like so overcoming that, school and stuff like that, it's been challenging definitely each and every year, but I just find times out of my day to like I think there's a saying in the Bible as well, with like faith without works is dead. So you could do like you could have the faith and everything, but you also have to like set that time to like work on time management, work on your strength, like work on your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. So I do try to find time out of my day to like consistently study, consistently work on the things that I need to get the best grades and the best like academic academic, what's the word for it, like academic like benefits as much as possible. But so it's just working on it. It's just work on it every day and taking it day by day to work on those things.
Yeah, I like something that you both brought up, just like the pressure of school and in general. I think that's one thing that a lot of people deal with, like mental health wise, pertaining to school, is pressure, whether it's pressure put on them by a teacher, by a parent, by society. I think that's probably one of the number one things that people get stressed out with school. Or even like, let's say you're in a different club, athletes, they have a certain pressure, band has a certain pressure, cheerleaders have a certain pressure, the chess club has a certain pressure. Like there's a lot of no, seriously though, there's a lot of pressures. They do. I had to include other things that weren't jocks, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think pressure is a huge thing pertaining to school and mental health, and then also just like the isolation aspect of it. Since we did come out of a pandemic, it was very, very lonely. As much as you even try to. And I'm somebody that's super introverted. Like for a while I was chilling, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was fine. I was fine with not going. I was fine with not seeing anybody. I was fine with that
at first, and then the pressure kicked in.
Yeah, and the pressure of even just that kicked in, and feeling like also like you're not doing enough too, but you're trying as much as you can to do everything you can school wise and stuff. And it was a very big adjustment that even like teachers in middle school, high school, and even professors, like nobody knew how to do school like that
Yeah,
online,
no.
and literally all, even online teachers didn't know how to do school like that online. So it was very difficult. And I also, again, want to bridge off something. I feel like you answered all the other questions that I had, but so in regards to school and mental health, how did your relationship or just journey with God altogether affect those things, or vice versa? Like, were there times that it was harder to
go through
have that relationship, or did one affect the other in a good or negative way?
Yeah, so I'm like trying to think.
Literally edit out
I
that
have
laugh,
like
that was so loud.
I have every thought in my head of what I want to say, and it's a lot, but like I'm trying to condense it. Yeah, so what's the question again?
So like with
every
school,
thought shambled
literally,
in.
and then she just lost
And
it
then
all
I'm like-
completely. So school, mental health, and God, like your relationship with all three
All
of those.
three.
Yeah, how did they affect each other?
How do they affect each other?
Yeah.
My brain's like on fire.
I mean,
You go
like,
first.
I mean,
so
for
like I
me,
got
like my relationship with God, like I feel like it kept like improving, kind of thing. Like, regardless if I was by myself, because the question was like how it's like affected like your school and stuff like that. As
Yeah,
well.
or just vice versa. Like if your relationship with God changed because of how school and mental health were going, in a good or negative way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
either
yeah.
way.
During COVID, like during that entire experience, trying to trace myself back to COVID, like, I feel like
think about
Triggered,
it anymore.
yeah.
yeah.
Triggered.
Nah, but yeah, there were things that I've overcome. Like that was my main like test during life. Like it had me go to like a clinic and stuff like that, where it was pretty difficult to get out of it. And like as I grew, as I continued to learn and grow from it, like I just look back and like God has helped me to get out of that situation. Like it's been like 4 years, and it's been like 4 years out of it, but like I know like God was with me throughout that entire experience to know that he's there for me. Like with tests and things that happen in your life, these things will happen, but God is there by your side, like throughout any situation that you go through. So my connection after that happened, like that's actually when I started like wanting to journal and wanting to like set time out of my day to worship and honor him with everything that I am going through in life. So it's, I don't know, it like I continue to build and grow my relationship with God as things started to happen, as things started to improve in my life. School started, and after school, like things got better. Like things got better, things started to improve, and I just started to grow my relationship with him each and every day as time went on.
So I can piggyback
Yeah.
off of that. It took me a second, but when COVID had hit, I was actually going through like stuff with my old church. So that was like 2019, and I was in school at the time, COVID hit. I was transitioning out of my old church. That like I'm grateful that the relationship I have with God really kept me throughout that transition, not only getting out of the in-school environment and then going into like completely online, but also leaving my home church. I literally grew up in that church my entire life. I was born literally into it, and then I like put it in deep prayer throughout COVID, and like had it set out to leave and didn't know where God was going to take me. So it was my relationship with God that kept me throughout school, but also like helped guide me literally here to Epic. So it took a lot of like steadfastness and like patience and really waiting for those signs, relying on his word, and like really just like sticking that out. And like school wise, I think the verse that sticks out is Philippians 4:13, which is very cliche, but I can do all things, and it took like relying on his promises for me, and relying on all the things that he said, and really like putting that into practice and like really believing it. Because you can, how many times do we recite, oh, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength? Like you can recite it till you're blue, but do you believe it?
Yeah.
And it really took like you know, being in a pandemic, transitioning out of there, thinking like, do I even want to go to college through this? Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought about just dropping it all and like chilling out throughout COVID.
I think
didn't know.
everybody did, to be completely
Everybody
honest
did,
with you. I
yeah.
definitely
And
was.
like, it took like having to remind myself, it's not I can do some things. It's not maybe you can do it. It's I can do all things. And I had to really put that into practice throughout that entire time. And that, I think that's really what helped me.
Yeah.
Really focusing on his word and his promises and the fact that, like, I'm not going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Reminding yourself,
Amen.
I'm not going to fail.
Yeah.
You're, like, crying.
Yeah,
like, in
no.
the back of your head, it's like,
You're like, I'm
maybe
failing.
I
I'm not gonna
am, but,
fail.
like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
really not going to fail.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, all it took during that time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna
Full
piggyback
time.
off that because that is complete facts. So in high school, for me, I was all over the place. I probably was all over the place in my life, period, until I was like 20, 21. And I didn't start taking. Well, I was good in like high school. Like I was a good student, and I can just get away
so
with a
nice.
lot. Yeah, because I wasn't actually, when I want to apply myself, I was actually very good at school. But then I started to get into partying and drugs and drinking and doing a bunch of stupid stuff. And had I not been a decent student, I probably would have not even graduated the year I was supposed to be completely honest with you. But even when I had graduated high school, I was still in that lifestyle. I was still doing that. I didn't get sober until like weeks before my 20th birthday. But my mindset with God then versus after I did come back to church, because even after I got sober, I still wasn't like having a relationship with God. I was just sober, even though he was part of the reason why, like, I definitely like heard from him, and but I just, you know, when you hear from him, you're like, yeah, that's great. And then you just keep it pushing.
Tone it right
yeah,
out.
that would,
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, God. And then I just never had a relationship with him like that until like late 2018, early 2019. But even just like the difference between, my relationship with God and how I was able to push through a lot college wise, always telling myself, even if I think I'm failing, even if I don't think I'm going to get there, I am going to get there because I know that he's telling me I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Versus
That's
how I
literally all
thought
it
before. Takes. Yeah, because I did do college for a couple years after I graduated. Never showed up in class. If I did show up in class, I was on my phone or I was high. Like I was, I was just not paying attention at all. I probably had alcohol in my backpack. I was literally nuts. I was offering it to classmates. It was horrible. So, but after my relationship and I, came back home to my father, it really was different. And just remembering his promises and standing strong on that and standing strong on the strength that he gives us, it really it just makes a difference. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And I also want to say too, like, God understands your school career. Yeah. Like we don't, sometimes we don't think about how relatable he actually is. Like Jesus went to school. Like he didn't just get to the age of 30 with no schooling. Like he didn't just know things because he's Jesus. Like he had to go to school. Now sometimes he was schooling people, but at some point of time he had to learn things as well. And people forget that like Jesus went through the same process as us. And even though he didn't go through a pandemic, he went through a bunch of other things. And school is still school no matter how you slice it. Back then, now it's still school. And so just remembering that, like, if you're stressed with school, if you're feeling any way about school, that like God understands you. And God really does. And like he doesn't just say that because he just wants to say that. Like he genuinely understands what you're going through. And just remembering that, like, he relates. Like he's got you. Like you're not just having issues or complaints or any type of feelings and emotions, and it's falling on deaf ears. Like he gets you. So no, that's good.
Yeah, for sure. And especially like for college too, like as an adult, like as a young adult, it's like stressful, like to like go to school, like make sure that all your classes are aligned, making sure that you understanding every single concept that's going on in classes and stuff like that. So like you guys were talking about verses, like I like the verse that kind of sticks with me is 2 Timothy 1:7, which is like, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So I kind of just look at it like he wants us to have that sound mind. He doesn't want us to be like stressful. He doesn't want us to have anxious thoughts with certain things. Like putting in as much as I can to like learn, grow, and do as much as possible to learn these concepts, but then putting the rest in God's hands. Like, you can't do it all. Like, you can't like, it talks about like how God turns like our natural into like supernatural. So like when you put like the rest of like your burdens, the rest, like casting your cares upon the Lord, like once you put your burdens, the things that are going on in your life, into God's hands and leaving them into it, like I feel like the sky's the limit when you could just like focus and know that God is there by your side throughout any situation that you're going through.
I feel like part of the key is like actually letting it go.
Yeah.
Especially like as a college student or as a student in general, like you have so much workload, for example, like the physical workload. And you have to also remember to like, you're not gonna put the physical workload and be like, Jesus, do it for me.
Yeah.
But like,
Here's the math sheet from third period.
Yeah. Please, Father God, fill it out. Like, fill it out like you did the tablets.
Take this test, Liz. Yeah, no, literally.
Like, part of it, I think, is like giving up that mental strain that you put on yourself of knowing that you have to get all that done. Can I actually do it? Will I get it done on time? Like, that's part of laying it down.
Yeah.
And I don't think enough of us do that. That's a key.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally give the mental strain to God and like get your work done.
Yeah, it's
It's
hard,
not-
but
it's
also
hard,
get
yeah.
your work done too.
Get your
Like
work done.
Yeah.
it's
Get your work
got to
done.
definitely be a give and take type
Yeah.
thing too. We don't want y'all to think that y'all aren't supposed to be doing work
No,
now,
do your
because
work.
you are. Yeah, no, you have to. You can't just expect God to come through in all ways like that, like to answer your tests and do stuff if you had no time aside for studying. So also just practical things too, like you said, like
Yeah.
time management is such a big. That's why I'm a planner. If you know me, you ask me anything, let me check my planner, let me look at my
Word.
planner.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an old woman and I could care less. I could care
My
less.
planner
It
is
helps.
color coded.
Yes,
It's color coded. It has bullets. It has stickers.
it has
It's
things in there that don't
insane.
even need to be
Yeah,
in there,
it
but
has
they're
things
there.
that don't need to be there. Sometimes I even put a tiny goal in there, like get out of bed, shower, don't forget deodorant
Yeah,
on in the
no,
morning.
literally.
And I check it off. And it's silly to do that, but like it keeps me on track and it makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something in my day.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it is the little things too. The little things get you through the day. And like my boyfriend tells me all the time, like celebrate the small accomplishments.
Yeah.
It's not always about all the big things that you do. It's also like being happy in the small things that you do. Be grateful that you did something little for yourself. Take that time for yourself. And like it's so important. We don't do that either. Those are things we don't do.
Yeah.
But it's so important to do it. Makes
Yeah.
you feel like you accomplished something. It makes you feel a little more upbeat. It's a form of self-care almost, which is equally important for mental health.
Yeah.
You know?
I think especially
Good.
if you're struggling with mental health, and
Oh my
Desola
gosh,
said it
yeah.
earlier too, like it's day by day.
Yeah.
You just take it day by day. You may have plans next week, you may have plans months from out, but take it day by day and just try to do, what'd you say, an A plus? Get an A plus every day.
throughout the day. Like,
That's cute.
was
But
nice.
like,
Get a good grade. Get a
yeah,
good
like
grade.
little things add to that. Listen, if your mental health is at a place where it's not great and the best you did was get out of bed and you did it with everything you had, that's a good day. That's a good day.
Yeah.
And it's,
It
you
is a
know,
good day.
yeah, it's little things day by day, and also don't let school get in the way for that. School's not going to last forever.
Literally.
Hopefully not for
You'll
you.
get over it. You'll get through
You know,
it.
yeah,
You'll
there's
get
going to
through
be a day that you're out of it one way or the other. But also giving yourself just grace and patience, and remembering like there's a lot of, you're not alone in this. Everybody's struggling no matter what age, when you were in elementary, middle school, high school. Us college kids don't have it together. I used to think that in high school, that once you're past 18, you are a 50-year-old. It's not true.
Nah.
It is not true at all. Believe us, we have tears in our eyes right now. You just can't see it. We're going to have Mike edit out the tears that are flowing through our eyes right now. Yeah, but just giving yourself that grace and just remembering you are human and trying to take it day by day. It's very easy to get overwhelmed, especially, let's say, because some classes act like you don't have other classes, so
Oh
they'll
my
give you a
gosh,
bunch
yeah.
of
Nah, for
assignments.
real.
They'll over like
got, like,
we'll even
25
tell
pages
them
to
like
read
I had a
today.
professor, thank God, that like actually extended grace. And I was
Yeah.
like, listen, like you have 2 assignments overlapping other assignments, and one of them was a project, the other one was a test. And like some professors are actually chill and they'll work with you.
Yeah,
But,
and teachers
it's-
too, I think.
sometimes
like,
the overlapping, it's scary, and the pressure kicks in, and like sometimes you have to sacrifice a day of something you were supposed to do for school or like with family just to get that overlapping assignment done.
Yeah.
But like you said, it doesn't last forever.
yeah, it doesn't last forever.
It gets
and
better. It's just
yeah.
a now thing.
And I think
Yeah.
also vocalizing too. Like I know
Yeah,
some teachers,
communicating.
yeah, high school teachers, middle school teachers, they see hundreds of kids and all that, and so they may not be able to be as flexible.
Mm-hmm.
But just communicating, hey, this is something that's going on in my life, or communicating to someone that this is
Yeah.
something that's going on in my life, whether it is your teacher, counselor,
Mm-hmm.
parent, maybe an older mentor you have, somebody at Epic Youth, just letting them know, hey, this is what's going on, so they could provide a resource for you. So they
Right.
could provide something that could alleviate some of the stress that you may be feeling with an assignment. You know, we have a bunch of leaders here that they do help kids with homework. Sometimes I get calls about homework. We won't do your homework because y'all been trying that sometimes, but and sometimes I really just don't know, so I just say no anyways. I really actually don't know, but just communicating and saying it out loud, and don't let yourself like suffer in silence. And if you are struggling
Right.
with something, don't be embarrassed to say it, whether it be your mental health, whether it be something in school, because I think school too, because it is such a generalized education, if you don't fit into that generalization of how they teach things, of how
yeah.
like you may not understand how things are being taught, which is nothing of your problem, but you know, they teach one way, you learn another way.
Yeah.
So just even in that, like just speaking up in those little moments too, because
Yeah.
it starts to add up and make a difference, a really big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But just taking it day by day. So my next question is for Kayla, the teacher. So as a teacher, for yourself, and I guess for other teachers too, even though Kayla teaches a very, very young crowd,
I
but
do
nonetheless,
teach a young crowd.
what is something maybe you or just other teachers, if a teacher just happens to be watching, or a leader, or anybody in that type of position, like what are some things you think from like that perspective that can be done to help students?
So Elajah knows, I work with preschoolers. But I do
Tiny
have
tots.
experience. I have 5 years of experience working with middle school, like in a middle school, and like even working with teenagers in general, like even at my old church and here. So the first thing is communication. Like you're not going to get anywhere not communicating. That's how you get comfortable with your students. That's how they get to know who you are. Because I'm not going to lie, when I was a kid, if a teacher flat out just came up to me and tried talking to me, like it wasn't going to happen. I'm not talking to you. I don't know you. I know nothing about you. Building a relationship and communicating and like really nourishing that and building that bond. And it's the same, believe it or not, with like 3-4-year-olds, because I work 3 to 5. It's exactly the same thing. A kid is not going to just, unless, well, some kids will go up to you and they'll be like, hey, look at this. And it's like
Yeah.
a booger on their finger. And they just want to share it. But like sometimes entertaining
That's
the booger
crazy.
on their finger is what builds the bond. Oh my God, that's actually disgusting. Can we clean that? You help them. And you then, oh, can we go play and do something else? And like play
You
with
could
them.
rate the
You
booger.
build,
Communication is
rate
key.
the booger.
3 out of 5.
Communication is key.
Communication is key.
And like not turning them away. Because to them, like, this is like big. This is huge. I mean, let's get off the booger subject. But like, whatever it is that they come to you about, and this is all ages, a kid, a baby, a teenager, high schooler. If they're coming up to you sharing something with you, it's because they're interested and they want to engage. So, keeping an open mind, staying engaged, communicating, all of that are strategies of like really bonding and helping their mental health. Sometimes they actually really do want to get close and tell you personal things, but like they don't know you, so they're
Mhm.
not. And like physically, a strategy, like not really a strategy, but something that we do in my preschool is they have something called the cozy corner. So every
be
classroom
in the
might have a
cozy
different
corner.
one. No, the cozy corner, sometimes when the kids are sleeping, I sit in the cozy corner. And like once they're all knocked out, I sit in there and I do what they do. I just self-reflect. It's literally some teachers might have like a teepee or what do you call those little not a sleeping bag.
Like
The-
a dome, a fort.
No, what do you sleep in? A tent. They'll have like a tent or a teepee and they'll put blankets, pillows, stuffed animals. It's literally our dream, by the way. And
I
we
wanna live
have
there.
that corner there so that they can self-soothe, self-reflect. If they just are tired of being around friends, because they're human, they're just tiny humans.
Mhm.
They get tired equally of being around people and they want to be alone. So we have like that little corner that they can just be human in. We have books there, so they'll like pretend to read. The books are upside down half the time. But the point of the matter is that that corner is designed for them. Yeah, it's a space for them. And like I think everybody needs to have a space for them. You know, as teenagers, you're in school, you're probably really not feeling it. Find a place where you feel secure. Find a teacher that you feel secure with, a counselor, even if it's like a security guard, like you're cool with them. Like find that your cozy corner. If you're outside of school and like home life is just really stinky and you have nowhere to go, Epic Youth is your home. Find your cozy corner here. Finding it in your room. Make a little corner in your room. Find that spot. You know, I think everybody should have that. I don't know why I thought of the movie Prayer Room. Is it Prayer Room?
I think so, yeah.
Am I quoting the movie wrong? I hope not. But
actually, maybe not Prayer Room.
I don't think it's
Prayer
Prayer
Room.
Room.
It's the couple,
It's
though?
the couple, yeah.
Yeah.
And
They had
she
a prayer
makes
room,
a
though.
prayer room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of piggybacking off the cozy corner, make a prayer room for yourself. That helps too. So I don't know, like just finding that space where you can have time to self-soothe, reflect, and giving students that, giving kids that, and then communicating, being open, like really embracing their presence, showing them that they're loved, they're cared for. Those are all like things that I do as a teacher.
Yeah.
To like work with my babies.
Yeah.
So.
And if there are any teachers or anybody that's in any type of position like that, it really does matter. Like, I think some of my issues that I had in high school, that I had like crazy stories. Literally, the first people I went to was
I have so many crazy stories.
literally,
of
but
school.
the first people I went to was a group. I had 3 teachers that were very near and dear to me. I literally still talk to them to this day because I love them so much, and they helped me out with so many things that I even felt like I couldn't even talk to my friends to. Which I love my friends, and if they're watching them, you know that's not what I mean. And they'll know these teachers and they'll agree with me, I promise. But it is just so important when you just like see a kid, like, and you just really see them and you really acknowledge whatever they're going through, because regardless of us adults, we know what us adults go through. We know that there's so many different things that you can come into, and then you have to leave it at the door and put on a face for these kids. But in the same way, they probably have to do the same thing sometimes. Like some of these kids and working with youth, like we see a lot of kids come from a lot of different things that you would never know because they would never say it out loud. But even if it's just in a private conversation, you'd be like, wow, like I had no idea at all. So yeah, being that safe space for them, or just bridging them to somebody that is a safe space. If you can't do it, being a resource and being like, hey, I'm not really capable of doing this, but let's together find something that does work for you. Hey, I do know another teacher that has that availability for you, and whatever that may be. We're about to make a cozy corner.
Please make a cozy corner.
We're about to have not that little weird
I literally
trap
have a
house
cozy
love
corner
shack over there, but
it's literally a corner in my my bed is against the wall, so I have this little tiny corner, and I stack all the pillows, all my plushies, and I just lay there.
that's a vibe.
I lay there, I read my Bible there, I take my notes for school. Like I literally tuck myself in that corner. That's where I feel safest.
I love that.
In my room, yeah.
Okay, so last thing, is there one nugget that you would like to give students?
Students, be gentle with yourself. That I wish somebody had told me to be gentle with myself when I was a student, all throughout, like from baby school all the way to college now. Like, be gentle with yourself. So that's what I would say.
I have a quote from Oscar Wilde. It's
Okay,
be yourself. It's be yourself because everyone's taken. So like just knowing that you have purpose, you matter in this world, and like knowing that like you are who, like just creating a purpose for yourself, like knowing that the things that you have to say, the things that you want to talk about, they do matter. So just knowing that everyone else in this world is taken, and just being yourself throughout any situation that you go through, anything that you want to do in this life. God's going to be with you, as well as people around you. They're going to be a supporting factor to help you grow in this world.
I'm sorry, but Mike just almost tripped y'all. All right, so that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining and just opening your hearts and be willing to do this. For everybody watching, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time for another Project U video. Bye.
Thank you for joining our YouTube channel. We post weekly content for you to draw closer to Jesus. So please like, share, and subscribe so we can transform the next generation.